Good morning, ladies. If you are getting this video, it's because you've responded to the indication of interest for Il Dolce far Niente 10-night cultural experience in Spoleto, Italy, May of 2023. So what this group is, if you've got it, you're going to be in the May 3rd through the May 13th time frame. So you should know that, May 3rd to May 13th. And let's see, let me go over some of your questions. Fiumicino, FCO, Frank Charlie Oscar is the airport in Rome that you would fly into. I don't want you buying any tickets yet. There's a certain protocol that we have to do to kind of pull this together. So I'd like to give you, and I've got my cheat sheets here, so bear with me, please. The time frame, December 29th. December 29th is the last day for the payment to Bohemiate, 501c3, which is my nonprofit, $1,275. You will end up getting, I'm still working on getting this set up. You will get a link, and then you enter the link to pay, and then an agreement, a coaching release of liability is prepared because it's necessary, and you guys sign it online, and then you go ahead and put in your bank thing, Zelle or PayPal or the credit card, however you're paying, and then that will go through $1,275 to Bohemiate, which is a 501c3. The next payment is January 9th, and that is 685 euros paid to the professional driver, Gianluigi. I have used my credit card to secure him for those 6-day trips and secure the hotel for those 10 nights. As you guys come in and make your payments, then I get released off the hook with my credit card. And right now I'm on the hook for $30,000. So the better we can make this flow, the better it'll be. Let's see. He said that if the petroleum went over 1.75 euros per liter, there could be a modest $30 euro surcharge, but it's very unlikely. 685 euros, and he's right now in the process setting up his PayPal with the credit card, and it'll specifically show you my logo and then show you the 6-day trips, but you are paying him directly. Then January 29th, the hotel needs to be paid. And again, you will be put directly in contact with the manager, and you would need to express that I want to come in on this date and leave on that date, which would be the night of the 3rd of May is your first sleeping night, and your last sleeping night would be the 12th of May. Now, if after we get in a group, you want to add days on either ends, you could do that. You will have to communicate to him whether you want superior or standard. A standard room is 1,220 euros for 10 nights, 1,320 euros for 10 nights. A superior is 1,620 for 10 nights. And a superior, they're both private rooms. They have breakfast, private bathrooms. They're lovely. The hotel has an elevator during the day, but at 9 o'clock at night, the elevator does stop. They're very short flights of steps, so it's really not an issue. And the hotel does have a phone number that if you ever had an emergency during the middle of the night, you pick up the phone, you hit the button. I think it's button 9. We'll go over that in the coaching. And then they would show up and they could call an ambulance. So for all the night activities, they have someone on a concierge call. During the day, they're present. So December 29th, January 9th, January 29th, boom, 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 are the 3 payment dates. As soon as I get the first 4 women making the payment to Bohemiate, I will open up the private coaching group and immediately bring the women that are coming into this excursion, this experience, into the coaching group, and you will start to get meeting each other, and we'll start looking at everything we need to do and discuss the other issues of whether you're adding more days on early, which in the indication of interest, you all said you wanted to show up 1 to 3 nights earlier, and you wanted to stay 5 nights to 3 weeks later. So that's something we can work on. A lovely complimentary breakfast is included from 8 to 10 each morning. I do not want you buying your airline tickets. I want to get everybody in the group and see if we can orchestrate some people arriving on the same mornings, and then we can set up the airport pickup. If you get picked up by yourself, it's 250 euros. If you use the driver I have a relationship with, if you use one of the guys at the airport, it could go up to 400 euros one way. So I would rather you work with my guy just to keep your life a little bit calmer and easier. If several of you show up the same morning and there's only a 2-hour difference between your arrival, maybe 2.5, then he can wait. The first person waits, grab the second person, and then he brings you back. In that case, let's just say, for example, there's this girl running on the roof. I could see it over there behind my curtains. Let's say 3 of you show up at once. It wouldn't be 250, 250, 250, which is 2, 4, 6, 750. It wouldn't be 750 euros. It would be something like 450 euros, and then you divide it among the 3 of you. So we've got some flexibility in getting you a better rate up and down if you're going with someone else. The experience is a difficulty of 3 out of 5, 5 being the most difficult. There are significant walking. There's uneven cobblestones. There might be rain. There are not handrails and things like that. So you have to have halfway decent vision and halfway decent knees and stamina to do some of this. Our days, usually the driving to these 5 hilltop villages. One is going up to Monteluco, and that's only 30 minutes, and that's a picnic that I'm offering you on the first full day that you were there on the 3rd, trying to get my date straight. But then there's 5 full day trips where he will bring us right up to the highest point, let us out, about an hour and a half each way for the drive. So that's 3 hours of driving. We'll have 4 to 5 hours in the village. Yeah, because that's 4.5 hours in the village, of which lunch will be reserved. And I'll tell you exactly where you have to come back to at what time for us to have lunch. All 5 lunches are reserved. 6 dinners are reserved, and they are all a la carte. When you sit down at the table and you say, I'd like some water, I'd like some wine, I'd like an appetizer, I want my main entree of pasta, I want a second entree of meat, I want some vegetables, I want some desserts, I want a liqueur afterwards. What you consume, you pay for. But when we get in the private coaching group, I have a bunch of the menus from these places, and I know what kind of are the prices. So I would say that you would spend, I'm not spending 65 a day for lunch and dinner. I spend less. And then the truth is, and that's for the 5 restaurants at lunch and the 10 dinners at night. And then you've got 3 full days that are free to do what you want. But we're going to have that walking orientation tour that I'll be pointing out restaurants, and there's a porcheteria, pork sandwich truck that shows up on certain days for lunch if they're days you're in the village. And those sandwiches are 5 euros and they're filling, and you get a drink and a sandwich, and now you just paid 7 and you're fine, and then you go get an ice cream. So it depends on how you're eating. I think I covered everything. Oh, I forget if I said, but there's optional. There's about 8 to 10 little indoor and outdoor museums that we're going to go into. And they run typically 10 euros a woman, so they're very small potatoes. I do want everybody to buy medical travel insurance, but once we're in the group, I'll assist you with that. And I've got numerous options of where you can go with what you choose. Okay, so I think I covered everything on there. You guys asked me about the airport. You asked me about coming early. You asked me about the food prices. Okay. I'm running through this, so I apologize. Yeah, I think it's a good idea when we do get to the point that you're buying your airline ticket, you buy the option to change your tickets without a penalty, because sometimes once the women are there and they get kind of unblocked with the experience and they start seeing that other women are staying longer, then all of a sudden they go, well, I want to stay longer, but it's going to cost me with my ticket. So it's better to buy a ticket that's got that flexibility of change. It doesn't hurt to also get the insurance from the airline, but in addition, you will need the medical travel insurance. There will be a coaching release of liability, which has to be done that when you get the links for payment for me and you go to pay, this agreement will pop up with all the disclosures. I am not a travel agent, not a tour guide, not a seller of travel, not a destination management company. I am not a therapist, a psychiatrist, a nursemaid. I am not any of those things. So you need to know that I'm not those things. I am a certified travel coach. I am the ambassador for Italy through the Travel Coach Network. I am a 60-year-old retired early disabled woman. I ran my own investment firm for 25 plus years. I was in public office. I was an athlete, an international emerging artist. And at 40, when I had my second baby, the weight of the pregnancy damaged my heart valve, and I've had multiple heart surgeries. But I get around and I go forward. I'm also a migraine sufferer, but I've got treatment for that. And I just won my pen, so I'm totally excited about that. So, you know, I've been living in Italy 15 years full-time. I traveled Europe and Asia 15 years prior, so I've got close to 30 years of international travel, actually over 30 years. I'm bilingual, I'm dual citizen, and my village knows me and loves me, and I love my village. And I am going to be including a 3-minute referral video from Vera. I'm going to ask that you go to the very end. I haven't been able to edit it and move it around, but the very end, she talks a little bit about my personality. And Vera's available. I think I might even put Vera in the group because she's 83 and she's just a wonderful, wonderful lady. And she was there with me for a month in Italy. And I'm actually thinking about letting her be a senior advisor to women in the mid-70s up through 80s because she's got tremendous insight. And so I think that's the other thing that I'm going to be doing when I start doing that. And I apologize for looking, but I really hope I answered your questions. These hilltop villages, I put a focus on Etruscan, and Etruscan is a civilization that was prior to the Romans, and there's tons and tons and tons of Roman stuff in Italy, and I get kind of sick of it, and I'm an artist, but I love the Etruscans, and it's very unusual. So I have focused on finding all of these Etruscan caves and grottos, and the way they lived is far more primitive, advanced for the time period they were. They have kind of a Greek influence, which from an artistic standpoint, I just love it. So it's a foodie tour, it's a slow travel tour, it's a culture tour. I say tour, but it's experience. And it's Etruscan is the emphasis. And female bonding. I have to say I've got some dynamic women coming in here, and I'm really impressed. You know, I wasn't sure what type of women my package would attract, but there's an age span, a lot of professionals, retired, not retired, and even very senior traveled women that know how to travel the world alone, but they just don't want to travel alone, but they sure as heck don't want to do a traditional tour. So I think that's about it. Kind of going through this. And anyway, would you be so kind that when you get this, you're going to get an email, and I've got to figure out how I'm going to put this link of the video in there. And then there'll be the link of Vera's video. I would like you to, at a minimum, just respond and say, hey, Francesca, I received it and I watched both videos. And then as you continue to have more questions, let me know. Ciao tutti. Bye.